Well, you have until the 29th of April to comment on changes to the Magistrates Bill. The new bill aims to move the magistrate system closer to what the High Court judiciary looks like. Parts of the new bill will also replace the 1994 Magistrates Act to bring it in line with the current constitution. The goal is to prepare for what's called a single judiciary, where both the magistrates and the super courts and the high courts fall under one system. We're joined now by Mbekezeli Benjamin, advocacy officer at Judges Matter. Mbekezeli, good afternoon to you. Is there a need to make the way that our magistrates work and the way that our high court judges work more similar than they are now?
Excuse me. Good afternoon, Stephen, and to your viewers. Yes, there is a need to align the two systems. For the longest time, magistrates have really been the stepchild of the judiciary. And even pre-1994, magistrates were never seen as judicial officers. They were merely seen as an extension of the government. But with the post-1994 era, the new constitutional era, they were recognized as judicial officers. But this transition away from the Department of Justice towards a standalone judiciary has been a long time coming. And so this bill will try and address that and align both the High Court and the Magistrates Court to create a single independent judiciary.
Will that actually make justice better? Will it actually mean that people get more justice, perhaps more efficiently?
Well, the idea is that a single system that is administered by the judicial officers themselves will make sure that justice is more efficient. Because now we have a situation where if, for example, you have a case in the High Court, you really deal with a different department from when you are dealing in the Magistrates Courts, which falls under a different department. So the idea that if everyone is under a single judiciary, then it is one efficient system from the bottom upwards, and that hopefully there will be better access to justice for ordinary people.
I mean, Mbekezeli, you'll know that if you Google News bad magistrate, you're going to get all sorts of reports about what magistrates have done. And sometimes the rulings are overturned later in the High Court because they simply can't stand. Do we need to change the way we appoint them as well? I mean, you're absolutely right. They do the majority of the work. It's really important work. Most people will see a magistrate rather than a High Court. Yet we sometimes seem to have quite a high number of magistrates who are caught in wrongdoing.
Yes, in fact, in terms of the numbers, there are 10 times as many magistrates as there are judges. So there is a whole lot of people, about, I think, 2,000 magistrates at the last count. And right now, the appointment system of the magistrates has been quite different from the one we see for judges. Even though there are similarities, there is a unique process about it. And so the idea behind this new bill is to align the two systems to make sure that both magistrates and judges are held to similarly high standards in terms of appointment, and to, even when they are sitting as magistrates, they're held to the same standard when it comes to misconduct, for example. Because currently we have a system where magistrates are really dealt with completely separate. Parliament has a bigger role to play there, which is another flag or red flag, that Parliament has a bigger role to play when it comes to magistrates, but less of a role when it comes to judges. And so the idea is that when you align the two systems, you have the same set of standards, the same set of ethics across the board.
The thing that everybody probably wants, Mbekezeli, is for court cases to run more quickly. I'm absolutely certain if I was wearing a magistrate's robe right now, my first response would be, all of this is well and good, but their courts, the magistrates' court, need a lot more resources than they have now.
Well, there is absolutely no doubt that the magistrates' courts need a lot of resources. We have gone to some magistrates' courts where there's not even water, there's not even electricity. If you go to Lusikisiki in the Eastern Cape, some of the magistrates' courts there are run from really makeshift structures. So there is a whole lot of resources that must be poured there. And I think over the last couple of years, the judiciary as a whole, from top to bottom, has had severe budget cuts. So the idea behind putting one administrative system for them is that you create some of the efficiencies that will allow you cost savings, and you make sure that the money that is saved there through those efficiencies goes to where the needs are greatest. And that's also the idea behind this bill.
And Mbekezeli Benjamin, Judges Matter. I don't know if that's Judges Matter or Judges and Magistrates Matter.